5 ways to bring peace to your family. This is an extreme, strange tactic, but we're sharing it because it works.
Because it works like a champ. So here's where I hit the button again, not to shock anyone, because that would be weird, but like the neon lights, we purposely mentally go to extremes, we as in Rachel and I, because it works. When you create such a massive juxtaposition in your head, it completely alters your behavior.
Now, the examples
We can't tell all the stories, so
I know.
let's pick one.
The examples we are giving, sharing, are real. They actually happened to us. And that's why we learned that they work, because it literally switched our behavior in the moment it happened. And you've probably had something similar. But
these are real stories.
Trying to teach you is that this works every time you think about it. The concept, I'm calling it extreme gratitude. And the reason I'm calling it that is because we were living in Guatemala. We probably had 5 kids under the age of 8. And as normal with 5 kids under the age of 8, I was annoyed with my kids because they were being kids and being annoying. And then I happened to go get on my computer to do some work. And I learned about a friend that we'd had in Utah whose 5-year-old son had died. Immediately, I stopped being annoyed with my kids. Immediately. That was it. In an instant, I was no longer annoyed because my children were still alive. Every time I think about that, I feel gratitude. And I cannot be annoyed at my kids because my children are alive. Not only are they alive, but they're healthy. So this is an example to me that we can change how we feel in a moment just by changing what we think about and what we focus on.
When our boys, Parker and Kimball, were 4 and 5, I learned about a cousin that I had that I'd never met, and their little 4-year-old had just died of cancer, leukemia. And they invited us to the funeral. So we load up all the kiddos. And of course, we had all kinds of kids, and they were resisting, and we're trying to get them dressed up nice and go to a church for a funeral. So it's this big ordeal to get everybody going. And of course, guess what happens while you're driving to the church? The kids undress themselves. So you get there, you're like, all that work was undone while I was driving. You're like, yeah. So we're late. I'm like, now I'm trying to put finding the ties, it's missing, the shirt's off, the shoes are gone, the socks are gone. You're like, are you kidding me? I'm just trying to keep you dressed. And so Rachel's trying to find kids and babies and missing stuff. And I get the boys ready. I'm like, I'm just going to take the boys. And I grab my boys and I'm carrying them both. And they were doing a viewing and then a funeral. We missed the viewing completely because we were late. And I go running down the viewing room. And this is one of the most sacred and cherished experiences of my life. Happened by accident, but total divine providence. We get down to the viewing room. Gosh. And the only people left were the family. Mom and dad and their cute little kids. And they were saying goodbye for the last time and closing the casket. And I was standing at the door. They didn't know I was there. They still don't know to this day that I was there. And I'm standing there silently holding my 4-year-old and my 5-year-old while this beautiful little family in just sobs and tears and sorrow closes the casket for the last time. With their little boy. And I could not hold my boys close enough. I could not cherish them enough. And there's no way in the world that I could be annoyed with them for having taken their shoes and socks off on the way. Extreme gratitude transforms us. It prevents us from getting upset over trivial, stupid things. But we have to remember extreme gratitude. We have to go there so that it keeps us in a good state. I'll never forget that beautiful moment.
About 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were in Utah visiting family. And while we were there, my cousin, I love her, and we were best friends for a while when I was in high school. We partied together, but then I changed my life. I started going back to my church, and I took a totally different path than her. And she's had some rocky relationships, but she was married to this, she is still married to this Greek man. And she had a couple kids, and he had a couple kids. Well, his son, while I was in Utah, the family went out to dinner, and he didn't want to go. He was 13, I think. He decided to stay home. And when they came back from dinner, her little 6-year-old daughter went downstairs and found her 13-year-old stepbrother. He'd shot himself in the head. And at the time, Kimball was, I think, 13. And I went to his funeral and I went to his viewing. I don't even know what to say about it, except it's so tragic. But I will do anything to keep my kids from feeling sad or depressed. I am not going to add to the burden that people already feel, that teens already feel from being teenagers. I'm going to do everything in my power to give them the tools, the habits, the skills to be happy, so that they never feel the need or have the thought of wanting to take their life. I know that this is kind of crazy and extreme, but we're sharing it because it's something we literally use. Another one is, you guys know about our car accident. Aaliyah got ejected from the vehicle. She was 3. And when Greg saw her lying there on the grass, we still laugh about it. To this day, he can't get upset at her because he thought she died. She got thrown from the vehicle. She was laying on the grass. He opened the door. There she was. He thought she was dead. He can't get mad at her. Because when you realize you could have lost that child, you're just glad they're here. So, maybe it seems a little morbid or
It's intense,
intense,
but it works.
but it works.
It works so powerfully. So use it because it works. You've had experiences like that. You've heard stories like that. If you don't have your own stories, use our stories, but let them affect you in such a way that you're like, I can't allow myself to get upset over my children over silly things because I'm just unbelievably grateful to have my kids. Let that enter our psyche, our feelings, our hearts, our spirits with so much power and force that it changes our behavior towards our kids. You want to have more peace? Have extreme gratitude. And I promise you'll be way more peaceful.
And
Way
way
more
more
peaceful.
loving. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it automatically, and that's the
Okay, I
ironic
want to go
thing.
find all my kids and hug them right
It,
now.
when you have those experiences, it automatically brings more love right away. Like that's what you feel. You feel more love and gratitude in that moment, immediately. As soon as you hear about that, immediate love and gratitude. So that's the ultimate message of this technique is that use those things, use those reminders to bring back that love and gratitude so that you now can come from a place of love. You can bring that love into your interactions, and that begins to then change the dynamics. That begins to change the relationship. And now instead of a downward spiral, we're starting an upward spiral. And that's what we want. We want to move upward and upward and upward with better relationships, better behavior, better responses. And it feeds itself. And then it becomes easy because you're not fighting reality, because reality is better. Reality is awesome.
Can I get an amen on a Thursday afternoon?
Or night if you're in Portugal.
Amen. Okay, we'll let you guys. Thanks for being here, you guys. 5 strategies. Super easy. You should have them all mastered before you go to bed tonight.
Easy.
Oh, you got this. No. You guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being amazing. And those of you watching the
deliberate.
recording too, we love you and thanks for caring and wanting to lead your families. Let's go love on our families right now and tell them how much we love them and appreciate them. Love you guys. Reach upward.